Welcome to Envision Broadcasting, the station designed to encourage, equip, and empower you for growth and success presents The Momentum Shift. A show where we get inspired, we get moving, and we get results. Every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern with your host, Eric Collier. He's the mayor of motivation and mental quicksand expert, bringing you inspiring interviews and empowering stories that will help to improve lives. If you're ready to start making the impossible possible, then you've joined the right show, because the Momentum Shift is what you've been looking for.
Hello, I'm C. Eric Collier, also known as the Mayor of Motivation, and welcome to the Momentum Shift podcast and radio show, a show designed to get you inspired, get you moving, so you can get results. And this week, we're going to do it with my special guest, Miss Herisa Stanislaus. She is the known as Herisa the Traveler. She's a world-renowned traveler. I always mess this part up. Spoken word poet, and she has a background in public health. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Miss Herisa Stanislaus.
Thank you. So you did so good. My name is very challenging. To make it easier, I say like Stan is the law, Stanislaus.
Gotcha.
So Herisa Stanislaus, yes, I'm an international spoken word artist, public health leader, and educator and curator. My work is at the intersection of poetry, healing, social change, and advocacy. And I'm also known as Herisa the Traveler because I love to travel, and I also elevate storytelling with my spoken word poetry. So let me know what you want to know.
I love it because you walk into the room and you just this energy, this glow about you. And so it's real cool. You're fun and excited to be around. But I've heard your poetry and you kill it. I kill it. I said I think Rooted was the one that I love because it ties into a poem that I like called Good Timber. And it talks about the storms that make the trees strong, And so I love what you talk about in that. So we'll get to that.
First of all, you got a note in your voice. I'm like, ooh, you could speak. Okay, I hear the poet in you.
You've got to find, I always tell people, you've got to find a way to keep yourself going. You got to keep yourself motivated, inspired. You got to find ways to keep yourself reminded that you got to keep going. And so I use poetry as well. I just don't write it like you do in 5 minutes or less.
It takes a little bit of time. When I do typewriter poetry, that is in the moment and it's like very fast.
Yeah.
That's like the nature of it. But I actually do turn out some really good poems on the fly. Like I was at a birthday for my poetry friend. He's a big fixture in the community.
Okay.
And I wrote the poem for him on the train on the way to Rhode Island because I don't have a car. I drive, but I don't have a car.
Okay.
So I took the train and I was like, you know what? I reflected on all I know about him and I wrote that poem. And everyone was like, you wrote that on the train? It's like, well, sometimes it writes itself.
Yeah, that's cool. It's kind of like an elevator pitch, right?
Yeah.
But you're just powerful. Talk a little bit about, we're gonna dive into this in a little bit, but since we're already talking about your poetry, talk a little bit about your poetry and what it's about and why you share poetry and storytelling.
Well, to start, let's just bring it back real quick. I was always a writer. I was writing on little scraps of paper since I was, 8 years old. And my mom noticed that. She bought me a journal and I called it like my book of quotes. And I used to make my parents listen to me. So I was always performing in some shape or form. But when it transformed into spoken word poetry, into like advocacy and mental health and healing, it was when Sandra Bland passed away.
Okay.
And when I found out, I was living in Texas at the time, and I just was following the story, and I saw a lot of myself in her.
Yeah.
And the only way to process like the pain of hearing that she passed was to write a poem, and it was like during work. And so I had to maintain composure. I was client facing, and between clients, I wrote this poem, and it was so different than my usual pieces. It was longer, it was more descriptive, it was painful. I had such a visceral reaction. So when I finally performed it, I actually had been practicing
Gotcha.
because it was just in my head, and the poem's called Dr. King's Dream. And
Okay.
when I did that, the first performance, I was voluntold.
Yeah.
People
Hey,
can
sometimes you got to
tell.
get off the you got to
Yeah.
get off the seat, right?
Yeah, like some people can really tell that you're a writer just by
Yeah.
the way you ask questions, because
Yeah.
I saw this performer and I told him, like, you are a phenomenal poet. Like, you must practice. Every line was so crisp. No hesitation, no ums. And he said, "You're a writer, aren't you? You gonna come to my open mic. I got you down. You gonna come through." And so he made me go dead last.
Right.
And everyone was just so welcoming. It was literally the last year I was living in Houston before I moved to Spain.
Got you.
I did that whole poem, and that was pretty much the stamp I needed to keep going. And
Yeah.
that's why I started. And I've since expanded into like different topics. I'm really looking at healing, right? Because at first, of course, I was approaching it as to heal, but it was sort of venting in a way, right? It was very rooted in truth,
Yeah.
but it was a form of venting. And then I made a shift somewhere a couple years ago into just really focusing on how can when I perform, I want it to feel healing for me
Got
as an individual, not to like relive certain things.
Yeah.
So I just made just an intentional shift to write for like my mental health.
Yeah.
Still speak truth, but not have it be so dramatic where I re-traumatize myself, right?
Yeah.
Like, of course, there's room for that, and I still have those poems, but I really made an effort to blend public health and my wellness background into my poetry.
Cool, cool. Yeah. And that's the piece right there, shifting. That's the piece we got to be able to shift and move forward. And we can get stuck and we can get stuck in what I call our own mental quicksand. And
Mhm.
and we're like, oh my gosh, and we just spiral down into this black hole and oh, woe is me, and oh, it's not gonna change. So we got to find a way to keep it moving. So that's why we created this show.
Mm.
That's why we created this show. I'm a big sports fan. And so when you talk about momentum shifting, I go to the boxer who is on the ropes, who's just getting beat down, punch after punch. He doesn't even know what's going on. He's staggering. He doesn't know why he's still on his feet, but he's just still swinging. And he lands that punch that changes the game. And next thing you know, the defenders over there like, what is going on? I can't take this dude out, but there's something rooted inside of him that keeps him going.
We have I call it an internal coach, and then
Yeah.
on what say Rocky or
Yeah.
Creed, you got that external coach, and that trainer, that person that talks to you and is like, remember everything you've been through, use
Right.
it as fuel, all that, right? And that happens when you're in the ring. Your past comes with you.
Yeah.
Use it as
Exactly.
a way to momentum shift, right? To keep pushing.
Can't go down. I got too much going on. I can't go down
Okay.
right now.
It was like, I got more in the tank.
Exactly. Not now. Work too hard to get here. Just
Right.
too far to quit. So talk to me a little bit. I always like to start our show. We've been into this for a little bit, but I always like to start the show with the question of what does momentum shifting mean to you? Or excuse me, what is momentum shifting to you and how has it helped you change your life?
Yeah, momentum shifting is just being super intentional. So like 2025, I said hashtag shoot your shot all 2025.
Shoot your shot. I love it.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I'm going after any and everything. So when you gave me the opportunity to come on your podcast, I said yes. I'm in my yes season. So
I
that's my
love it.
momentum shift, is just saying yes to the opportunities and seeing opportunities where I didn't in the past,
Yeah.
and giving myself permission to pitch,
Yeah.
right? Like, permission to pitch myself to people in a broader way. Because I was doing that before, but it was on a smaller scale. But when you look at my profile, you'll see like I really did make an effort, and I'm also now just showcasing it more and
Yeah.
more intentional. So momentum shifting for me is just saying yes to myself, yes to opportunities, and keep pushing.
Yeah, I like it. You just said all the things I love right there. Momentum shifting, keep pushing because nobody else is going to do it for you, right?
Who's gonna save you? The one in the mirror.
Right, exactly. You see them every day, and you're like, "Well, somebody help me, Lord, give me somebody that'll help." And it's you right there in the
Like
mirror,
the whole time.
waiting to get in to go to work, but you just standing there. Yeah, exactly. So talk to me a little bit because when you started this journey, you say you left Houston and you went over to Madrid. What was that shift what made you decide, hey, I'm out, deuces?
This story is so funny. I do love my previous coworkers, right?
Uh,
But it was one of those moments where yeah, I was working for a work-life balance program in a hospital,
uh,
and it seems like it's a small thing, but it was such a shift for me mentally.
uh,
I wasn't allowed to, like, there was a hesitation on letting me have the day off for my birthday, and I had worked like the past 2 years there without taking my birthday off.
okay.
It was a Friday, so the hesitation initially, and I got it eventually, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It's just that hesitation and the fact that there was a permission that was required.
yeah,
I had the time. And and it was of course cloaked in this idea of like, oh, we really need you and all this stuff. But it was I just decided, you know what? The world is my oyster. The,
yeah,
I'm writing my own story.
yeah.
So on a dime, I was like, okay, bet. Don't let me lock in. Okay. I'm very determined. Like people think, oh, like she's so bubbly, she's all this. I am that, but I'm a multidimensional person.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm in project management as well. I'm
Okay.
very detail oriented. I'm very regimented when I need to be, very disciplined when I need to be. And
Right.
I planned for a year. I found a program. I saved for a year. I drastically changed my life,
Yeah.
my expenses, and I moved to Spain because I was looking for freedom. I was looking for that opportunity to just travel in a way I hadn't before on
Yeah.
a scale that I didn't even think was possible.
Uh,
So the shift for me was just like I was just seeking more freedom.
okay. It's
And
like,
I
look, you
went
you
for
can
it.
you can approve the leave or not. I'm taking weather leave, whether you approve it or
I
not.
mean, but
I'm
what
gone.
did they say? PTOs prepare the others.
Yes.
I was fully ready to be like, well, I'm sick, okay, of y'all. But, but like, but yeah, I was very
So where
determined.
you going with that box? Oh, I'm just putting this in the car. Nothing, just tidying up a little bit.
Yeah, I really was grateful for the opportunity, and then I made the decision to just change my life to do something different
Yeah.
because we are allowed to make different decisions. Like I
Yeah.
believe in the pivot.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
a fan of the pivot. I have had many lives.
Right. Hey, you got to. It's part of growing, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's part of growth. It's just what did someone say? Someone said like life is a dream, right? And
Uh,
just come on, make it fun.
exactly, right? Somebody said, I heard somebody say, I'm living the dream. And somebody said, what, a nightmare? He goes, that's a dream too.
Dream too. And it's all about how you word it, right? Like, oh,
Yeah.
it's a nightmare, but I mean, someone else is like, well, it's a dream,
Yes,
right?
exactly. It's a dream. I'll be out of it in a little bit. Be all
Right.
right.
Like some people hate public speaking. That would be their nightmare. But I'd be up there like, hey, girl, you get it. You're having a
I've
fun.
seen you. I've seen you command the stage. Yo, I'm like, you got it. You working the man. I said, woo. The audience out there loving you to death. So that's
Oh,
cool.
thank you. I relate to the audience. I'm like, no one wants to be bored.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we want to be entertained. I think of them as like, friends.
Uh,
Hold on,
you've been training since you said you what, 3 years old?
it's like 8. I was just in front of the crowd. Yeah, but really like the public speaking,
Yeah.
that didn't actually come very natural to me.
Okay.
Yeah, like I was nervous. Like I have anxiety to an extent, right? When I was
Okay.
younger, I still pushed through and did it because I was very ambitious. Like again, locked in,
Yeah.
wanted straight A's, chanted that into existence, became
Right.
valedictorian of my high school. And that speech was actually the moment when I became a better public speaker. It's because my
Okay.
dad, like, he's Caribbean. My parents are Caribbean, by the way, and
Got you.
they don't pull their punches.
Uh, it's like you can do better.
No, no, like he was like, "This is terrible. Do it again."
You got my name. You gonna go up there like that?
He's like from the gut. And so he made me become a better speaker. And actually, I did great. People were quoting it.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool though. Look, sometimes you look up, you might, we're our worst critics. We might think that it was terrible, but everybody else is like, oh yeah, we love it. I've learned this from your videos. Well, yeah,
Oh, seven figures. Everybody say, "Hey." Well, you
yeah,
know what? It's about permission. Like people don't know if they can interact with you or not.
yeah.
So,
Hey,
spoken word poetry, people are new to it a lot of the time.
yeah. I tell you, it's pretty cool, and I love how you put the music to it and everything else. I mean, it's beautiful. Like I said, the poetry itself, it says so much, and you never know where people are in their mind, state of mind when they put it together. But just hearing it and just the way you vocalize it and you flow with it and you just like I said, play to the crowd. I was loving it. I was like, yeah, go ahead, yay.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I said, I love the way you flow with the poetry, and you add the music in there. So you leave Houston and you go over to Madrid. Did you know anybody?
No, I didn't know a soul. I didn't know a soul. I came there with a program,
Uh,
and the program introduced me to people,
okay.
but ultimately I had to make friends on my own.
Yeah.
But what makes living abroad interesting is that people, it's self-selection in a way. If you
Okay.
move abroad, you have I believe a more open spirit. There's
Yeah.
more openness to you, so you're a little more willing to meet people where they are and make friends. So I was able to like make some lifelong friends in that
Right.
process. Like one of my best friends, I'm now a godmother because of her.
Okay.
No, I never. I was like, I don't know if that wasn't on my bingo card, but that's really cool.
Went all the way over to Europe, right?
Yeah, yeah. I was like, I went all the way over the year to be a godmom, you know. I go back almost every summer to actually we were planning we started this Juneteenth celebration in Madrid and it
I
was all
saw
about
that.
yeah like that started in COVID
Okay.
and we did it as a celebratory protest. Her name is Erin
All right.
in partnership with Ola Magnolia, her company. And we ultimately wanted not just like the, you know, picket fencing and, we didn't want to do that. We wanted to celebrate our artistry. So
Yeah.
I like contacted the artist and curated it and hosted it and we performed. She's a professional singer and professional
Okay.
poet. So, we were able to like tag team and we've done it 4 times now.
Nice.
And it's really exciting. And so that's partially why I go back. And then now I have another reason as well, like see her do the event and also my goddaughter and her
Yeah.
partner. So yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I truly believe if you set yourself on fire, people will come to watch. And that's proof, right? You travel over to another country, you don't know anybody, but you create this audience because you're on fire and you're talking to people and you're demonstrating your skill sets. You're telling everybody what you do and what you love. And they're like, I do it too. Let's go.
Like it's really fun. Like that's
Yeah.
also like why I love travel.
Yeah.
You meet so many talented people.
Yeah.
I love to connect the worlds.
Yes.
So that's why I created House Poetry with Herisa, which actually again started in COVID. Look at us just killing it in COVID.
Right. Exactly. Hey.
I mean, granted, of course, that was a terrible time.
Right.
A lot of people lost their loved ones, and it also made us face ourselves in a way that we wouldn't normally. And in response to a lot of the things going on, we came up with ways to help people cope. And one of those
Exactly.
ways for me was House Poetry with Harita.
Yeah.
I'd like all my friends from all over the world, like pop on my Instagram live and perform. And
Yeah.
now I've formalized it in the sense that I curate it. I have, I curated it before, but I didn't make flyers with the artist. But now I have features
All right.
and like an open mic portion. So I have like next one coming like end of May.
So that's cool. We have to make sure we make note of that. We want
Yeah.
everybody to get on that Instagram page and check it out.
Oh yeah, my Instagram is Herisa the Traveler. So Herisa the
Yeah,
Traveler.
there we go. We'll make sure we have that link on the description as well.
Thank you. Appreciate
Well, you
it.
talk about something that I'm big on, connection. And I think a lot of people who are stuck and not able to create their momentum shift is because they won't step out of their comfort zone and share what it is they love to do. Talk to me. What would you say to somebody who says, you know what, this is what I want to do. And then you say, well, why don't you go ahead and tell somebody that's what you want to do? And they go, nah. What would you say to that person who doesn't believe in that or scared to do that?
I would ask them, what would it look like if you did?
Mm,
Like instead of the negative of what are you afraid of? Like,
yeah.
well, let's look at what would happen? What would it look like if it went well?
Yeah.
How would you feel? What would that look like for you? Map that out.
Yeah.
And you kind of create a course for yourself. Because I'm a firm believer in envisioning
Yes.
and creating your roadmap, if
Right.
you will. And it kind of just, once you know, like, okay, this is my roadmap, it eliminates confusion
Yeah.
and you have more courage because you're like, okay, does this align with my roadmap? Does it not? And if it does, then you keep going. And if it doesn't, then you're like, all right, I don't have time for that.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So, like that hesitation, like, well, does that align with what my optimal self would do?
Yeah.
And then you're like, all right, well, let me just act, let's pretend for a day,
Right.
right? Let's pretend for one day. What would I do if I was operating without fear?
Mm. Yeah.
What would I do if I was operating from a place of I believe in myself? No matter what happens, I'm safe.
Yeah.
And just building that anchor inside yourself and then see what happens.
Yeah. I think that's the piece. That's a piece for me. You mentioned it earlier. I'm in my yes season.
Hmm.
Things change dramatically when you say yes to things that you would normally say no to because of fear or doubt or worry. And I think that for me has been a huge eye opener because you say, so somebody would come to me and go, "Hey, Eric, I want you to be an instructor for this job." I'm like, "Nah, that's not me, man. I don't do that." But what I learned was that instructor was my path to public speaking. It
Mm.
helped me work on my skill set as far as facilitating, as far as connecting with an audience, helped me put my slides together. I'm still working on that to be the best that I want to be, but I'm still working on that. But it gave me the opportunity to hone my skills, to build my craft, right? And so that to me, saying yes, changed the game. Eric, I want you to write this book with me. Yes, okay, let's go do it. And it changes the game set, builds the confidence, and it shows you can do a lot more if you just open your mind up to
Exactly. I completely agree.
it. Yeah. So I think for me, so we talk about when I was checking you out. So um you've got Herisa the Traveler, right? You've got I always miss
Oh, is it?
Stanislaus the consulting
Yeah, Stanislaus Creative Solutions.
creative
So
solution.
it's my public health and creative arts firm. I partner with communities and organizations to advance health equity through strategic planning and creative programming.
Yeah.
So I look forward to partnering with more organizations, but a current project is I have this workshop called Breathe, Speak, Thrive, and
Okay.
I blend spoken word poetry, mindfulness, looking at stress management to combat stress
Yeah.
in Black professionals, like creating a way to restore your story, like reclaiming yourself
Okay.
and identifying like ways to find balance in your life. So at the end of it, you're going to feel restored, empowered, and have like your joy roadmap.
Yeah. That's huge, right? That's a huge piece. Who's the audience you mostly work with? Is it moms? Is it women? Is it everybody?
It can, of course, it could be targeted for everyone, but I recently mainly focused on like Black professionals.
Okay.
But it can be modified for Black mothers
Yeah.
or schools
Yeah.
because students need to learn, especially in this day and age, like how to identify what is stressing them out
Yes.
and decompress because like we're gonna go offline with it,
Right.
right? It's like you're gonna learn how to be present with yourself.
That's a big piece. Yes.
Yeah, so it could work for schools, for also like employees at
Mhm.
I partner with like HR specialists and we deliver this to their employees.
Okay.
So it just depends on what the audience is, but I'm really good at modifying it for the audience.
Gotcha. I like that. I think something you said, you gotta that self-awareness piece. You mentioned back in COVID, a lot of people, it changed the game for people when it was unfortunate we lost lives, but
Yeah.
there were people that lost themselves in a lot of habits and behaviors that didn't allow them to break out, which was an opportunity for them, right? When everything shut down, one of the things that we've always said up until that point, we didn't have time to do.
Mm-hmm.
Here we had COVID and we had time to do. And it was that choice. I always look at 5 year window. One of the questions that was asked is what have you done the last 5 years of your life that has either gotten you closer to accomplishing your goals or significantly increased your income? And here we are 5 years from um, COVID, right? Or when it first started, right? And now the question is, what's changed your life from that point? I think that's a piece where many people missed out on that chance to really shift momentum.
Yeah, I find that a lot of people, I mean, you gotta you be forgiving in a sense too, right? That was a
Yeah,
really like trying, emotionally
it
damaging time.
was. Yes.
And instead of you know, using that as fuel to do something, people coped in the way that they knew how. Like some of
Right.
that was numbing,
Yes.
and some of it was hyper focusing, like right, hyper focusing on something and becoming really proactive and
Uh,
having results was also a form of numbing. So
yeah.
I don't think there was necessarily any right or wrong way to
Right.
cope through that. It was a really unprecedented time, and I'm a millennial. I'm so tired of hearing that. If I had to live through one more unprecedented time, I'm gonna be fed up. But there was no right or wrong way. Like, of
Yeah.
course, there's damaging ways, but that's just how people, unfortunately, there was various reactions, right?
Yeah. And if you
My,
don't know how to do it, you don't know what to do. You don't know what
yeah,
it's
if you don't have the tools, it's not like the world gives you mental health tools.
exactly
They're
right.
trying to gut mental health programming now, right? So
Right.
it's
Oh,
we just have to, it's a grain of salt. I think we
yeah.
have to be forgiving in the language that we use. Like some people advanced and some people didn't, but I don't think it was something that we can hold against anyone. It
Oh,
was a
yeah.
really damaging time for
Yeah.
us.
It happens when it's supposed to happen.
Yeah, like people have a momentum shift on a dime, right? It's something so small, like your arm got tired, so you stopped smoking. Something real arbitrary, right? You'd be like, "Oh, I actually don't. Do I smell like that?" Right? And then all of a sudden you change. You
Right.
know, right? People's value has to like align with whatever change they're making.
Yeah.
Like at health theory in public health, we have so many theories, but it's all about the internal environment. Like,
Yeah.
did this moment actually matter enough to
Right.
sustain change?
Yeah, it's like where are you at at that moment it happens, right? It's like
Yeah.
where you at? It's like, you know what? I've been sitting on this nail long enough. I'm ready to get off of it now.
Right. Like, it's like, you know what? I am kind of bored, right? And then you do something different. You got to figure out what's that switch for the person.
Right. You just got to shoot your shot, right?
Hmm.
Look,
The trans theoretical model, like there's a part where it's like, get ready to get ready,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
pre-contemplating, contemplating.
Hey, there we go. Look, let's go with it. It's just a challenge, right?
Yeah.
It's just a part of life. We don't know all the answers, and there's some times when we face uncertainty, and it's the choices that we make at that moment, right? We just work through it and see what happens. I think that's
Yeah.
the piece for
See what
me.
happens.
What I say, I like to throw it up against the wall and see if it sticks.
Right. Honestly, I think I'm in that season too. I'm like, you know what? Let's just see. Let's shoot my shot. The only thing you can tell me is no. I'm not gonna self-select no anymore.
Right. Yeah, I know, right? That's a piece, that was something that would hold me back a lot. It's like, hey, so I remember I said I wanted to be a motivational speaker. We do that 5 year time frame. 5 years later, I'm talking to Les Brown. He goes, hey, I can teach you how to speak. I'm like, no, that's not for me.
Hmm.
I was all in here, like, no, 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 that's not for me. Knowing I wanted to do it, knowing that I said I would love to work with him. Love, man, I was like, psh, that was my point.
Let's
So
unpack that. Why did you let the audience want to hear that?
I'm sorry, this is not a coaching session. No, I'm just kidding. No,
Be
I
a health
just
coach. We used to do motivational interviewing and all that, but
right.
now let me activate. I was, ooh, let's unpack
You
that.
just turned this around on me, and I'm crying on the couch now.
Coaching is more future, right? It's more future. We don't, we're not, I'm not a therapist, but
No, I just didn't believe in myself at the time. I just didn't, like you said, it just didn't hurt bad enough at that point. But it finally got to that point where I said, you know what? It's a wrap. I'm ready to go for it. Let's go. And so that's when it happened. So yes, I'm a huge example of not being able to shift even though I knew what I wanted to do, not being able to shift even though I knew it was time to shift. And I kept holding myself back. I tell people all the time, I was my own hater. I was my sabotage. I was sabotaging my own efforts. So anyway, that's not about me. This is your show. I'm interviewing you. Let me get my tissue over here. No, I'm just kidding.
You know, I have been known to make people cry, and from performing, people
Yeah.
will come up to me like, "You make me cry every time." I was like, "Oh, yes." No.
So
You got there. You got inside.
yes, at that point. So what is it about poetry that just connects with your heart? What is it that, because I mean you flow so well with it. I told you the energy you bring with it and just how you flow, your voice fluctuating and I mean I love it. So what is it about poetry that just boom hits your heart?
Ooh, gosh, you'd have to ask my 8-year-old self. I don't know. I just love it. I just took
Yeah,
to it. It just for me it feels really free. I
yeah.
love spoken word poetry specifically because of the freedom.
Uh,
I don't sound like anyone else,
no,
right?
you don't.
I have my own style, right?
Mm.
I
I
just
think I even heard you sing a little bit in it at one point. It sounded like you were singing
well,
a little bit.
I don't sing, but I can hit a tone,
All right,
right?
okay.
There's parts. My friend told me, she said, your voice can be really soothing, and I
Mhm.
know there's a way I can hit a certain tone
Yeah,
with my voice that can be soothing. And I do guided meditation in
yeah.
some of my poetry and I incorporate that into my workshops, etc. But
Mhm.
okay, well, what drives me to write is just expression. I'm looking for the truth. I'm trying to find how I feel, or I'm observing something and then suddenly it hits that I
Yeah.
want to write about it. Or if someone commissions a piece from me, it takes me a little more work,
Mhm.
but 'cause I have to connect in order to write. So
Right.
I'll research and I find like what's the heart of it. Like I did a gala presentation for Bread and Roses, and once I researched them, I love them. They're quote unquote a pantry, but I call them a sanctuary because you can go there and maintain your dignity and personhood, you
Okay.
know, and it does have a different way of approaching things with that particular
Mm.
organization. But I write because
Right.
I'm seeking the truth and I'm looking for beauty in a way, like trying to make sense of the world. And poetry is a way that I do it.
Yeah. And that's cool. It connects with your heart. So you talked about we talked about the 5 minute deal. I mean, it just you took 3 points from somebody. You said you had somebody come up. They gave you three pieces about a person. I think that was the Valentine's piece, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Three
you did
pieces.
homework. Look at you.
You did three pieces.
Yes. For those of you not watching, I'm clapping my fingers small, little claps, little claps. Yes.
But you're taking three pieces of information that they gave you about somebody they love, and you put together this poem. That's a gift right there. And I
Oh,
think, talk to me a little bit about finding your gift, and why it's so important to living a successful or happy life.
yeah. Finding your gift pretty much unlocks something in your spirit,
Hmm.
makes you feel like you're doing something more than you're doing something for society, you're doing something for the world.
Yeah,
And if even if it's just like a one-on-one moment, the
yeah,
fact that I impacted one person is big.
yeah.
So finding your gift is not just it's for you, but it's for other people.
There we go.
Right?
I
Like
like
if we never had a Whitney Houston singing and making people just cry because she's so talented,
yeah.
that would be a tragedy, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. Yeah, because her voice wasn't just for her.
It wasn't just for her. It was not just for her. That was a gift
Yeah.
he had to give to the world, right?
Yes.
And part of why I perform, it's like a part of me would die if I didn't push to do something artistic.
Yeah.
I'm very creative. I love to, the one someone asked me, like, what do you like to do? And I love to create,
Yeah.
whether it be like interior design, I love like my apartment has a really specific vibe to it,
Is it
or
feng shui? Is that still going? Feng shui? Or is that a new? We have a different word now.
well, actually, I have a mid-century modern flair to my
Uh,
aesthetic design. See, is it? But I love HGTV, like in the background.
yes.
Like actually forward, I have the pendant lights and there's a little recessed lighting in the
Got
background.
you. Yes.
I mean,
The such and such marble or whatever it is.
Like marble countertop, or I want a waterfall marble countertop. Let me like, don't get me started. But my mom says she's like she just told me on the phone. She's like, I could see you designing your house. I'm like, I love that.
Yes.
But yeah, to mainly answer your question, yes, finding your gift is really big to feel like you've done something, right? And a gift doesn't have to have a specific definition, right? Some people's gifts is like data.
Yeah.
They are good at analysis, and we need that, right? We need numbers.
Yes.
People that love document management, right? That is they sing, that is their jam.
Yes.
Or someone who loves to public speak like you, or poetry like me. Like, not everyone's gonna like the same thing. That's not everyone's gift is the same. And I love how varied that gift is.
Yeah. As a disc and facilitator, this personality style facilitator, I find that it's when you talk about the people doing what they love to do, it's if you're doing what you love to do, it matches your style. So, and if you're doing things that are difficult for you to do and you're not following through with it, and you're not enjoying it, it's because you don't have that self-awareness piece to understand that your style dictates that you could have 8 spreadsheets open and they're connected and they're flowing and all these formulas and everything else, and you can look at them all day, or you can stand in front of a crowd and just recite a poem that you just made up and be good for 15 minutes. I don't know how long you go.
Oh, it depends on the set.
She's like, y'all still loving this? I got some more. Let me add to it. So talk to me a little bit about some of your habits and behaviors. Like, sometimes, do you have a routine when you wake up in the morning that gets you focused or gets you balanced for the day?
Okay, when I'm being my optimal self.
Yes.
So, because that varies, right?
Yes. I just had those non-optimal this weekend. It's like, whew, it's a rest day.
Yeah, like last week we had nurses week. I was like, oh, all the routine went out the window.
Yeah.
But I have to make my bed in the morning.
Okay.
I have to eat breakfast.
Okay.
I get angry. My sugar level will drop. It is not a good thing for anybody.
Gotcha. Watch out, she's on a tear.
You know,
She's angry.
right? That Snicker commercial, you won't, it's very much indicative. Like, if I'm like not my normal self, I probably just need a snack bar.
Got you. Stay clear.
Give her an apple. No.
Yeah.
So my breakfast is I love oatmeal. I know that sounds not exciting, but I put walnuts and raspberry and almond milk because I can't do too much dairy, and
Gotcha.
and honey and cinnamon.
Okay.
That's like my breakfast.
All right.
And I start work. Then like after work, it depends on what I'm doing. So if I'm going to an event, then I just like make sure I bring water and like some snacks in a book bag, and then I go.
Yeah.
But if I'm not like performing, then I'll like try to make myself work out.
Gotcha. Try to make yourself okay.
Yeah, like all right, let's go do it. Because you never regret going.
Right. Yeah.
Always like the getting to the pre-contemplate, like it's the getting there, right?
Yes.
So
Finding reasons not to go.
right. So I was like, well, all right, how to remove barriers. Because I used to be a health coach. So I was like, all right, how I remove this barrier for myself.
Gotcha.
Well, I bought some workout equipment in my apartment, and they made sure they were pretty. These like really pretty purple weights. I have like this blue dumbbell that matches my apartment. Like, come on. Okay.
It's about it. It's got to match. I
It
got
has
you.
to be cute. Because why isn't my apartment looking ugly? Like, if I put it like in front of the mirror here because I'm doing my little workout, like it might as well match.
There you go. Right. Yeah. You
I'm
got to
spending the money anyway.
look good, work out good.
Like looking at it.
There we go. When it's
I think
sitting,
that's
sitting over in the corner, it's got to match everything else.
okay, it gotta be. I have to not resent it being there.
Right.
Right.
There we go. Yeah.
I'm just saying, this is just me. You got to know yourself. Some people don't care about that, but I do.
Yeah.
I have no delusions about what I like.
It's all good. Yeah.
But and then of course, my routine when I'm performing to actually get the thing in my head,
Uh-huh.
I call it a map. So
Yeah.
I just add a line at a time, right? You do the first line, you add a line.
Yeah.
Suddenly I have like the whole thing in my head and
Okay.
like really get it. Because I perform verbally, I have to practice aloud.
Yes.
And then once I have it all in, I practice with distraction, like targeted distraction.
Okay.
So I'll play music or have the TV on or just have something really noisy so I
Nice.
can go through distraction and then I find where I get excited and
Mm-hmm.
then I build like what's the anchoring bridge to the next line. And I
Okay.
might be like finding a syllable, like so constant, the T on the end, and then I know the next line has like tonight
Yeah.
links it, or I like link it with a move,
Okay.
like with rooted, I've spanned my arms and then I
Yes.
go down quickly, and that's because it that roots me into the
Yeah.
next line, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So those are some ways that I feel like I optimize myself in my routine.
That's cool. That's kind of like bullet points, right?
Yeah. 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 A physical bullet point.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
pretty cool. So talk to me. Let's talk about this rooted because
Mhm.
I like it. Where did rooted come from? And talk to us about for those of us who haven't heard it, they need to go to Harisa's YouTube page and listen to Rooted. It's there. I don't think it was Rooted, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that poem, again, one of my best friend Erin, she asked me to write a poem,
Uh-huh.
and it was for a show at a theater, Teatros del Canal, and
Say what?
Teatros del Canal.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I've been there before. Not really.
In Madrid, and I sat with it. She had a certain she wanted me to talk about the ancestors and honoring that.
Okay.
And so I sat with it for a while, and then I just said, I started thinking like, what did it take for me to get here?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that was like the starting point for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of like took you through the journey, and
Mm-hmm.
it's beautiful, but it's also like if you really listen to it, it's painful.
Yeah. Yeah.
you
There's some
know
things in there.
but the way I deliver it, it's like, yeah, there's beauty and pain,
Yeah.
and then I like to end with something like empowering
Yeah.
and just like acknowledging like the line, like the souls that have passed through this soul.
Yeah.
Because there's so much had to happen for me to be here.
Right.
I'm one of those people that believe in reincarnation, and
Okay.
because we all do in a way, because when people say you have an old soul, come on,
Yes. Right.
you know
When I
you
come back, right?
words mean things. Sayings mean things,
Yes.
right? So old soul means you've been here before, which means you had a past life. Let's just say it.
Exactly. Right.
Remove your resistance,
There we
okay?
go.
um, but so like when I say that, I'm honoring all those past selves
Uh-huh.
and finding alignment with my past self to present, and just like honoring the sacrifices, like my mom, my grandmother,
Yeah.
all the lines that came before me
Yeah.
had to happen for me to be here. So I'm just very grateful.
Ooh.
You know, it's like that line, like, I have no right to shrink when 1,000
Yeah.
bloodlines have flowed through these veins. Like, come
Yeah.
on. You know,
Yeah. Oh
we,
yeah.
we went through so much as a
Yeah.
people, no
And
matter where you were dropped off.
yeah, exactly. Right. She said where you dropped off.
You just happened to be dropped off in the Caribbean. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But you know what? Let's chop that up a little bit though. You talk about what is it, the souls that came before me. And if
mhm.
we really break it down, we are a result of the teachings that came before us, right?
Yeah.
Our parents, our grandparents, our great grandparents, great, all of that stuff has been passed down to us. And in some cases, we're living the same lives, similar lives, maybe not the same lives, but similar lifestyles. And at some point, then we go, well, we shed that stuff, right? And we start creating our life. And as we consider ourselves under construction, we're
Mhm.
shedding and growing as well. So there's a lot of souls that are running through, like you said. And if you just look at it as a whole picture, it's just so slavery. And then as it keeps progressing and progressing, it eventually comes to us and how we live our life and how we change. And then here we go into our own children, godchildren, grandchildren.
They did research, right, on like trauma changes the DNA
Okay.
person. So trauma has an impact. It
Mhm.
really does like trickle down.
Yeah.
So, like the things we see in the world is reflective of past transgressions
Hmm.
and systemic barriers, right? Like
Yeah.
the healing that we talk about, whenever you hear the phrase generational trauma
Uh-huh.
and generational healing,
Yeah.
when Instagram, they make light of it. They're like, I gotta work out, have friends, pursue my passion, and heal generational trauma. Like
Right.
when some time to take a nap
Right.
and do all that, and then you have kids on top of that. My goodness,
Yes.
parents are superhuman.
It's a
I
lot. It's a lot.
People that are caregivers, parents, whatever, guardian, high five,
Yeah. See, it's a lot. Yes.
giving you a hug.
But but you commend it. It's always I look at it. My mom raising three kids. My dad was still around. Thank God for my aunts and uncles. But you got somebody raising kids who's still trying to find themselves and trying to get their education together, their career together as well. That's a lot of pressure on people. And for people to finally get to the point where she was running for housing projects,
Mm.
that says a lot about whether or not your ability to shift. So I think, like I said, we find ourselves under a lot as parents, as individuals, but it's that fire inside of you that says, "Hey, I'm too strong. I'm rooted.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
got my feet are planted. I'm not going anywhere. I'm rolling, Jack."
But in a way, right? It just that line of like we are our ancestors' wildest dreams.
Yeah.
And I think we're even beyond that point because they probably couldn't even fathom all of this that technology, all the advancements that we've gotten.
Right.
Um, but when you think about it, you're like, okay, look at how much they did, how much of a jump and a leap it was for them to push through
Yeah.
for us to get here because we're at an easier point, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost you don't have the right
Mm.
to shrink.
Right. Yeah.
And that's in my poem.
Yes, it is.
And so many people pushed for you to stand here. Come
Yeah.
on, you gotta come up. You gotta show up. You
Yeah.
gotta stand on them roots
Yeah.
that are beneath your feet that are helping you stand right now. Because no one's alone. No one came alone. Of course, we might feel that way. Life
Right.
circumstances make us feel alone, but you actually never came alone.
Yeah.
There's so much that came before you for you to be here. And we have the responsibility to make something more out of it
Yeah.
because we have the tools and we have Google.
Right.
Now we got ChatGPT. So like really
Would
come
you
on.
would you say Google University? Is that what you called
I
it?
say YouTubeversity.
YouTube University.
Okay. That's how I learned to do my hair through YouTubeversity. I don't
Yeah.
got the time or patience
But
to
you,
sit.
you you can find a way. You can find an answer if you really want to.
You can find a way. And you also you don't have to find an answer immediately, right? Just be
Yeah.
on the path. I think being on the path of something gets you to an answer quicker than like never getting on the path.
Yeah. Yeah. I think somebody was saying it's better to have an 80% answer than to sit there and work until you get 100% because you'll never get that 100% result, right? The answer for the
Yeah,
problem.
like what did they say? I read something the other day that they did a study. They said one group of photographers, you need to take less pictures and just take a perfect picture. The
Hmm.
other group, they're like, take like 1,000 photos. Take as
Hmm.
many photos as you can. Guess which group took the better photo?
Which one?
The group that took 1,000 pictures because they were learning trial
Yeah.
by error. They weren't like stuck on the minutia of perfection. Like
Yeah,
I always say, like perfection delays progress.
it does, doesn't it?
And
Yeah.
we need to strive for excellence and not perfection.
Man, well, when the moment is right, when I get all the I's dotted and the T's crossed, when my money gets right, it never gets right.
Like even for very talented,
Mhm.
proven skill, like
Yeah.
look like Whitney Houston. You know what Whitney Houston used to say? She would ask and she asked someone, I heard this in a documentary. She
Yeah.
did most amazing. She made everybody cry. She was
Uh,
amazing. And she had the audacity to ask someone, was that all right?
wow.
I was like, you are the voice. That
Right.
is literally you are known as the voice. And
Yeah.
you're asking for validation from some person who can't even carry a note.
Yeah.
It's like, it's interesting because like it really doesn't miss anyone.
Yeah.
You really can't like beat yourself up because the people to me that's like number one in the world, they still have a question. They still get nervous. I can still get nervous before I perform. I'm human.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's it right there. And my thing is, if I'm not nervous before I perform, I'm not caring enough. That's the way I look at it. It just reminds me of this is what I asked for. This is what I'm here for. I'm loving what I do, and I want to make sure I'm providing value for those that I'm in front of, and that's the proof
Yeah.
there, you know.
I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah, because man, when someone told me that, I felt so good because I was like, oh, why am I nervous? I practice, I want to do this, I asked for this, and then
Yeah.
a little nervous before a performance or a podcast interview. You still get that little, and
Yeah.
that's just normal. That's just being human. I
Yeah.
think it adds like a little spice.
There you go, right? Embrace the moment. That's what you want. You want
Yeah,
that. Good.
yeah. Practice risk.
Yeah,
Practice taking risks.
there we go. I like it. And what are the biggest risks you plan to take this year? You say you're gonna shoot your shot. What
Yeah,
what
yeah.
what's the one thing that you'd like to complete this year shooting at?
Oh, okay. Let's see. Well, hmm. This is gonna, I mean, okay. I'm theatrical, right?
All right.
Yeah, I'm a character. I'm actually gonna finally audition for something.
Okay. All right. Nice.
That's my big, because I've been going with the poetry,
Yeah.
I'm gonna start pitching like even bigger venues and everything.
Okay.
Proven I can do poetry.
Yeah.
Love poetry.
All right.
I'm very passionate about it.
Yeah.
I have like another area where I'm like, you are a character. You have a lot of, I took like two acting classes a couple years ago, and the lady was
Okay.
like, "You're a really good storyteller. You're really passionate. She did all these really great things, and then I didn't do anything with it.
Got you. It's time.
So I said, this year, the thing that you wanted to do 2 years ago, or actually probably my whole life, because I want to do everything,
Yeah.
changed. Like
All right.
all the creativity has been consistent.
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to, what I always tell people, you're trying to cross that gap of where you are now and what you could become. And
Yes.
that's what it's about right there.
And there's an awareness too. Like,
Yeah.
that there's another level inside.
Yeah.
Now, give yourself permission to like run for it,
There
right?
it is.
So this year I'm like, all right, let's just go for the thing I have never given myself permission to fully pursue.
Okay.
See what happens.
I can't wait to see.
Anyone's listening out there.
I think they're asking for your portfolio. It's in the headshot bio. That's
Yeah, I was like, now I finally have professional headshots. Like, waited. I sent you one, you saw it.
Yes, I do have it. Yes, thank you. So question for you before we start closing this out. What was it like to spend time over in Europe? And I believe your mom was with you.
Yeah. Aw, you really do your homework. Yes, so I saved diligently to make sure she could come with me for 2 weeks because she said that was one of her personal goals, and I was really happy to give that to her. We went all around Madrid. My mom is a trooper, like she can walk.
Yeah.
Outwalked my friends who visited me. They were complaining, and I'm like, you need to get out more.
Right.
Out of your car, walk.
Right. Yes,
My
exactly.
calf muscle was like boop boop, because I was walking every all them hills.
Mom
So
was killing it, huh?
yeah, like we had a ball. Like we were walking everywhere. Like my mom is a trooper. I love her. She's my bestie, by the way.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. It's just always it's a beautiful thing. I know when I took my mom to Hawaii, that was just awesome to get her out there. And of course, I was a little worried because it hadn't worked out well getting her on the plane. We almost lost her the first time we flew. We had her fly.
What happened?
First time she flew into to the air to her connecting. She missed her connecting flight.
Oh, okay, okay.
And I went to the airport and couldn't find her. and her phone, she had this phone service that just couldn't connect in the airport she was in. So I couldn't find it. I thought I lost my mom and I couldn't. I was like, oh my gosh, I got to answer to my brother and sister.
Oh wow. Yeah, no, that's pressure.
But yeah, that's
I flew with her, so there
okay.
was no worry about that. Like we flew from New York to Madrid.
Yeah,
Um, she had a good time, and
that's
my,
cool.
my time in Spain was marked by poetry and travel. Like I was
Yeah,
known, I made a name for myself with my consistency.
yeah,
So
that's
I was like performing at open mics, and then all of a sudden they were like, "You're good, like you're
good.
consistent." And
Yeah,
then they wouldn't have an event if me and another singer, like me as a poet and another singer like couldn't come.
yeah.
They wouldn't have it. And then
Wow.
one day they were like, "Can you be on the flyer?"
So we can get the audience out here.
Move the flyer, and I'm like, "Yeah." And then all of a sudden I'm on flyers, and they
Yeah,
see me and I'm getting flued out, as they say.
flew down. That's cool though. I saw the audience and I saw the audience and that was pretty cool. I'm just disappearing here. I'm still here, trust me. I,
Okay.
I just got to hit the switch somewhere. It's this, yeah. I tell you what, it's just a day of challenges here. But we good. We rolling.
Oh, we're fine.
I'm just giving you your solo moment.
Like,
So
okay.
so what you got coming up?
So on Friday, I have a women's empowerment event. It's like an award gala, so I'm going to be performing there. And then after that is the same day actually is I'm going to be featuring as a poet at a comedy show, an all ladies comedy show.
Okay.
I have to post those. I just got like the flyers officially for
Yeah.
one of the. Like, I had the other one, but I want to like post it at the same time as like a May recap. This is what I've done so far.
Okay. Got you.
Just so people can see, like, booked and busy.
There we go, right? Not only that, the progress. You're not just talking about it, you are about it. And that's the big key right there.
Yeah, like what's really lovely is that my community, they're noticing
Yeah.
and they are remembering me for the thing I want them to remember me for, which is I love to travel and I love poetry and I'm in public health and I
Yeah.
in all three because they all flow.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, I have two websites. I built them myself, by the
Yeah.
way.
Okay. Hey, they look good.
Thank
Cool.
you.
That's all good. What don't you have something with travel that's related to travel? Um,
Oh, yeah. So I have a new product. It's really exciting. It was one of my more genius moments. So it's a passport cover
nice.
and I have two quotes and I also have the companion like luggage tags.
Okay.
And how it came about was from living abroad and
Yeah.
I wanted to have affirmations for people and
Yeah.
I thought traveling poet, passport covers, luggage tags, like
Yeah.
genius.
Yeah. So what are the quotes you have on them?
So, okay, this first quote is for the solo travelers.
Okay.
Solo travel is a gift to your courage,
All right.
and it is because you have to step outside yourself. You make a lot of friends, oddly enough. Like people
Yeah.
think you're lonely on when you're solo travel, and it's not. If you're open to make friends, you will.
Okay.
And then this one was from I wrote a poem about my journey abroad, and it's ungrasp expectations and allow experiences to brush your soul.
Okay.
So that one is for the adventurer. If you don't resonate with solo travel, because some people don't,
Right.
and you just want like an affirmation to just remove your preconceptions,
Yeah.
allow experiences to flow through you, you're gonna enjoy your travel experience more.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. How can everybody connect with you?
You can connect with me on my website, www.harisathetraveler.com. Also on Instagram at Herisa the Traveler. And on YouTube, same thing, Herisa the Traveler. And then if you want to email me, Herisa at harisathetraveler.com. So you notice there's a theme. So
Are you
I
open to traveling?
I love to travel. And also on LinkedIn. So
Oh,
Herisa Stanislaus, you can connect with me there.
got you. Anything you like to share with them before we leave?
Yes, so please, if you are looking for a keynote speaker on health equity, I could partner with you with Stanislaus Creative Solutions. If you're looking to elevate storytelling with having a spoken word artist at your event, gala, whatever it is, I am available for booking.
Ah, there we go. Herisa Stanislaus. also known as Herisa the Traveler. Thank you for joining me, world-renowned, I always mess a spoken poet, artist.
International spoken word artist.
I can, it's just, my mouth just won't, I can't get it together. International spoken word artist. Thank you for joining me. You truly are a momentum shifter. I love what you do. Keep doing it. Keep helping people improve their health and just get a better perspective on life. So I'll keep the journey going, man. Keep that shift moving. I love it. Now, just know I'm gonna be reaching back out to you to find out what you took your shot on because I want
Yes,
to
yes.
see your
I put
name
it
in
out
lights.
there in the world. That was a risk for me, but I'm like, you know what? Go big or go home.
Put it out there and just make it happen. You never know who's willing to help you out.
Thank you so much. This was
Uh,
a great time. I appreciate you.
Good. Like, thank you. Thank you. Glad you enjoyed it and glad to have you on here. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's it for the Momentum Shift podcast and radio show. A show designed to get you inspired, get you moving so you can get results. I'm C. Collier, also known as the Mayor of Motivation. And my special guest today was Herisa Stanislaus, also known as Herisa the Traveler. She's awesome. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next week, just keep pushing because nobody's going to do it for you. Take care.
Thank you for joining The Momentum Shift, a show bringing you interviews and stories of incredible people to help you get inspired, get moving, and get results to ultimately create the life-changing momentum shift that will improve your life. Join host Eric Collier, the Mayor of Motivation and Mental Quicksand Expert, every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern for The Momentum Shift, the show and change you've been looking for.